So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends and Prairie Vintage, my name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys. Fantastic viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you guys finally found me. Here I am. Hello. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful to do your reading again today. Today's reading will be an energy check. We'll look at you and then we'll look at the energy around you. Could be a person, place, or thing. Okay, most likely will be a person, but I'll let you determine what it is. And it could certainly be two aspects of yourself. Okay, so take what resonates here. Don't box yourself into who you think you'll see. It's the energy, the strongest energy around you that will pull through. And so we only have 3 piles to choose from, or 3, I guess, picks. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And I'll hold these up shortly. We will take a look at the decks that we'll be using for this reading. I do want to get into a quick disclaimer here. People are like, oh my goodness, Linda, we're only here for the disclaimers. This one will be a nice disclaimer. Okay, they're all nice disclaimers. This disclaimer for this reading: don't force messages that aren't for you and then come up with all sorts of reasons of whatever it is that's going on in your mind. Okay, this is energy. Energy cannot be put into words. You either resonate with it on an energy level or not. Sometimes there are no words to describe it, to explain it logically, okay? You don't have to have logical stories, okay? But at the same time, if this is an energy here that's completely shocking, surprising, I had no idea, what the heck, earth-shattering, then that's not your pile. It should be something that you already sort of know intuitively, okay? Now, sometimes we're completely off kilter with our intuition, and this is why we come to the tarot. Or we can't read our own cards if you're like me, and so you might go to the tarot just to connect yourself with the divine, you know? So let's look at the energy around you. This way you can make different decisions that are conscious and you are in the know, and you can develop your strength of self and confidence in your intuition, navigating sort of in the dark, not needing to know things, you know, like intellectually. And that's why I do these readings. Okay, it's not so that you can remain in misery or, I don't know, support any sort of victimization or stagnation or any of that stuff. If you're stagnant and you've been stuck in tarot land for some time but don't feel yourself healing or progressing or moving forward, then this reading will not be for you. Okay, and you can come back here when you're ready to sort of want to free yourself. Okay, this doesn't mean that we can't go backwards. Sometimes we got to go backwards and we might be in tarot land for a while, but as long as we are open to exactly what's going on with our energy and we're open to working with the divine in order to heal and move forward and ascend, then we're exactly where we need to be. If we're stuck and suffering and incapable of surrendering, then we're resisting change. We're hanging on. We're really not wanting things to change or get better subconsciously, okay? We may tell ourselves we do, but there's something going on subconsciously that we're having to take a look at. Why are we stuck, you know? So hopefully this provides us with some clarity in these readings that I do for you guys. I love you guys so much. I do hope that these help you guys to make conscious decisions. And this isn't validating or supporting that other people in your world are doing things right. Not at all. This is understanding other people's shadows, how we might be unconsciously sort of engaging in our situation or with people that are perpetuating states of conflict, suffering, you know, and so the other person isn't going to magically wake up most of the times. And so the best way is to take back your power and make decisions that change dynamics within your own life, situations, circumstances, or how you deal with people. Okay, if you're wondering why people are acting the same or you keep encountering the same experience, in different bodies, then there's only one common denominator. Okay, so this is all about self. And this is why these readings are here in the first place, for me anyway. I don't know about other readers, but I can't speak to any of that. Okay, so I'm just reading energy and using my intuition, reading cards exactly as it comes forward. It's not my opinion. It's not me giving my interpretation of what I think it needs to be. It's me channeling exactly as Spirit knows I'm going to channel the information, and you do with it what you will. Okay, this isn't dictating and predicting what is going to happen 100%. This is just saying the state of energy is showing this sort of dynamic. It could shift. Energy shifts all the time. Okay, could do the same reading like 2 minutes from now and it'd be completely different. Or it could be exactly the same if we can't change the channel of our energy frequency. So it's up to us to change that channel, you know. And then we get a different outcome with different people, even if they're sort of in the same energy. If we change our own composition, our own chemical composition, then it's going to change the substance. Okay, cause and effect. So this is what we're looking at. So enough of my monologue. Let's take a look at these three options. Wait, let's look at the decks first of all and foremost. This is the tarot I'll be using. I'll be using one tarot pack for all three, okay? But we have a lot of oracle to kind of go through, and I just got these, and I do a tarot reveal of these. Absolutely love them. I'm probably going to use these forever because I love them. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. All right, so oracle cards. If you guys are interested in any of these oracle cards or taking a look at that deck I was just holding up, I do have a playlist. It's called the Tarot Deck Flip Through, and I have a lot of the flip throughs of all those decks that you see me using on this channel. Before you invest in any of them, you might want to take a look and see if you connect with any of them. And finally, so we have, just so you guys know, there's two different ones. There's the relationship, the sacred geometry, and then there's the activations. Okay, I'll be using both. This will be for the energy between you and your situation or your person. Okay, so those are the decks. Let's take a look at our options. Pile number one, we got these two hearts. It has a little chip. Okay. Option number two, we have these cute little bumblebees. Option number three, we have these two coins. So we have the sun, the intuitive eye, third eye, and they're double-sided. We have the moon and the closed eye. Okay. It's absolutely fine to be pulled to all three, two, one, none. Listen to your intuition. If you have a hard time, close your eyes for a little bit. Open your eyes. The first pile that calls to you will most likely be your pile. You must resonate with one side being your energy. Otherwise, it's not your pile, not your reading. You can go check out another pile, go check out another reading. Okay. And I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number one, you guys picked the two hearts here. Okay, let's take a look at this reading, shall we? So we're looking at your energy and we're doing an energy check. What's going on around you? A person, place, thing. Most likely we'll pick up people, person. Okay, but it could be a circumstance, a situation, and it could be another aspect of yourself. Okay, don't close yourself off to who you think this might be. It's going to be the strongest energy or what you're needing to hear that pulls through. Sometimes spirit comes through with something completely different here. Okay, so let's take a look. You're either going to resonate with the left side or the right side, sort of being your energy. Okay, yeah, so if one side doesn't sound like you might be on the other, and one could be your situation or a person you're dealing with. Okay. If it doesn't have you on either side, then go check out another pile. Okay. Don't force it. So let's take a look. This will be person A. What's going on with person A? Then we have the Tantric Journey 42, or the number 6. The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. Wow. Reaching a state of wholeness within oneself through experiencing another. Okay. We have the Pigeon. Yeah, coming home. Wow. Very spiritual energy pulling through. We have the Lamb. Beautiful. Look at this. So we have Earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And we have this Oracle card. Beautiful. And we have these 3 balls of matter. And to me, it's looking like ascension. And then we have this Oracle card. Interesting. It's kind of giving off a little bit of devil vibe-ish. Capricorn energy. Okay. It's looking one way, one's looking the other way. Interesting. Okay. And then we have healing, separation, go within. 7/7. And we have vanity. 39. Arrogance, vainglory, pride, disdain, sufficiency, high self-esteem. Number 3. 3 is Empress energy, all about growth, initial success. Okay, it says type 3 is achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, this is 6 Wands energy, ego. Dependency, find strength in self-sufficiency and empowerment. It says reliance, neediness, and addiction. Dependency. Okay, this is the shared energy, and this is the other person, person B. Okay. Or situation, circumstance. Don't peg it to a person, although most likely will be. Yeah, let's take a look. We have this person, a lot of blue here. Wow, cute. And we have, this goes like this. Okay, 2 balls of matter, one little one becoming a big one. And we have this Oracle card right here. Looks like someone, these are how my eyes look in the morning when I've been crying. It's definitely what it looks like. I'm getting 5 cups energy from this, okay? And I'm getting 6 cups from that. So anyway, Holy Grail, 4/4, receive the gift. Receive the gift, oh my goodness, Ace of Cups. Holy Grail code, 4/4. We have deprivation, 16, basic ego level. Basic fear, ego level, 16, or the number 7. 7's faith, wisdom, reflection, and understanding. 7 could be Tower energy. And it's also Chariot, Cancer energy. It says deprivation, psychic pain, shortage, lack, sadness, insufficiency, and physical pain. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Now I'm getting like a 5 pentacles right beside a 5 cups here. But physical pain as well, interesting. And the green talks about a heart chakra, so we could be having some 3 swords even. Okay. And we have compartmentation, 32, or the number 5. 5 is, that's Tower energy, us feeling conflict, loss, change, rebuild. Okay, it's Hierophant energy, Taurus, and Temperance, which is the healing card. Sagittarius energy, fragmentation, isolation, division, cleavage, lowering, separation. Defense mechanism, ego level, with the blue. This is throat chakra, which is self-expression. Neglect. Tend to your inner garden and it will flourish. Which feels a lot like what this person's doing here. Disregard, overlook, and forgetfulness. Unicorn. Wow. So very spiritual card here. This is third eye opening. Dreamy energy. It's all pixelated here. We might read this unicorn one because I feel we're being called to do that. Giraffe. And this is seeing from a higher perspective. Could be hangman energy. Could be talking about ascension. Having to rise above. A higher version of herself. Okay, and then here we have communication, which we're feeling from the blue. 14, more temperance energy, healing, balance. Okay, the frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth. Interesting. Look at the heart and communication. Okay, to stay in the flow of source and balanced exchange. So that's why we're seeing temperance there with balance. Balanced exchange. Yeah. Okay. Neglect. Let's see the unicorn before we do this. Before I channel it, we could get messages here that could come into play when I peel back this message. Where is the unicorn? I thought it was, yeah, there it is. Reconnecting to higher wisdom, yeah, or divinity. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago, the mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power and our mind hesitates between a yes and a no and a maybe. Is it male? Is it female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. And it is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for the answers. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Home energy, home energy. This is the shared energy between you and this person, which I do feel is a person here, but whatever. Okay, 7th chakra. Wow, very spiritual here. The energy of the crown chakra supports our feeling of being connected to a higher power and part of a larger whole. Very connected to this whole energy here. There's 2 people telepathically exchanging energy, whether they're together or apart. Wow. Very interesting. And look, we have the 5 sets of people here sort of morphing, transforming in some way. Different versions. And we have the sun, spirit. Sun is consciousness, enlightenment. It's masculine energy, Leo energy. I'm also getting Aries energy. Okay, it's a spirit, which is very connected to this crown chakra. Okay, holy camole. Heavy hitter right off the hop. Let me tap into this pile. Okay, pile number 1. Wow. Please go listen to the intro, okay, so that you know what kind of reading this is. Could be you on either side, and it could be a person, place, or thing on either side, okay? Don't force it to fit. Could be 2 aspects of yourself. All right. So I do feel this is you, though, okay? Just for those of you guys who just kind of tune into what it is that I'm generally picking up. So person A. Person A is going through something very, very, very profound here. Okay, is coming into wholeness within themselves. And it has been through a very difficult experience of maybe having to be very vulnerable, trusting, and also identify where they might have been naive. Okay, there's an innocence here about this person that is being discovered, and it's been discovered through challenge. And so this person really is working through a lot of ego, shadow. And it isn't saying that this person was arrogant or had any of that, although there might have been some pride, but it's really working through their self-esteem, which is ego, like their self-worth. what they're willing to sort of invest in and how they're willing to show up and understand where they're maybe being naive from innocence and compassion and love from a neediness or a dependency. Sorting through all of this. And I feel like this person might have felt abandoned. Okay, there might be a separation between these two. And I do feel there is a heavy separation that has happened, or they could be in separation, or they're at a distance from each other. Something's happened here where I feel they're still connected telepathically, energetically, potentially. But person A is really about self, coming whole to self, coming home to self, ascension. Okay, and I feel like this is really, really accepting two sides of the coin here, because I do feel like this person is now embracing parts of themselves that maybe they were not seeing as themselves, which might be parts of themselves that would have desires or would be considered bad. Okay, just an archetype here. The devil within them. This person's embracing the devil within them. Okay, now you have to be sort of abstract here to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this person all of a sudden is in these like unhealthy patterns and addictions and vices. That's not at all. It's like the shadow in this person that has been revealed to them is being integrated into who they are. They're not resisting, suppressing, and putting it back in the shadow, saying, I'm not like this, or I'm not like that, or I don't need this, or I don't need that. It's like, I'm welcoming all of me, the good, the bad, the innocent, the vulnerable. But one thing this person isn't anymore, I think, is naive, because I feel this person feels used, or at least there's been pain here and they've had to heal through this experience. There's a realization here of a higher level of understanding, which is whatever they experience has brought me closer to myself, has brought me closer to understanding myself, has brought me closer to accepting myself. And I feel like this person is celebrating all of themselves in a healthy way, but also working through identifying a lot of the ego parts of themselves, the shadow self that might have created a lot of this trouble, trouble in their world. Maybe they were very codependent, because of this dependency is coming through. So it's like, how are they not seeing it within themselves to stand up for themselves or to be appreciated and valued? Because I feel like this person might have played it small, or might have settled, or might have just wanted something that they felt they needed to get from an external person, most likely this person. Okay, but it could be just as long as they had that whatever they felt that they needed, that I feel their understanding is that they found whatever it was that they thought that they needed from within themselves. So there's a heavy energy here of being empowered, the strength from self now to stand on our own. And although this person might be on wobbly legs here, I feel this person can see clearly, and I do feel like this person has been navigating within for quite some time. And I do feel without this person or this experience that I'm tapped into here, this person wouldn't have come to this conclusion, if you will, or this, this place within them that's been revealed. And so, yeah, there's embracing a devil, a dark side of this person, but also like knowing how to, again, have that healthy acceptance of this dark side, because there's a very fine line between this person, being upset or angry or holding any resentments here, to acceptance and love and really healing through a challenging experience. But they're coming into themselves. And so because I feel this is very, very spiritual, like this person has navigated the ins and outs of themselves for quite some time, that they're very connected to the divine, and I feel their crown chakra is very much open. And so this telepathy is really like a three-way, I feel here. and it is like the divine and this person in the crown chakra. And I feel like there's a telepathic bond between these two aspects or people. Okay, A and B, that's going on. But I feel like the floodgates are sort of open here. And so I do feel like this progression, if you will, has been different versions of these people. I don't know, A and B. Okay, sort of morphing or sort of ascending throughout maybe different cycles. But I feel like this is really them coming into conscious awareness and having the door open to spirit to be able to see things. So there's a lot of clarity here. There's a lot of seeing the dark. So it's like once the light shines on the dark, it is no longer in the dark. It can now be integrated and accepted and worked on. It doesn't disappear so much as it's now out of the shadow and it's able to be worked on. So I feel this person A is working on being sufficient on their own, because I do feel they feel separate, like they have no choice but to figure it out on their own. And that's what they're doing here. Okay, now person B. It's interesting because there is mirroring here, because I feel like person B's crown chakra is opening as well. And this is as a result of feeling without and feeling bad. Okay, now I don't know if A left B or B left A, or if there's a reason these two can't be together. But I do feel like there's a regret, and there's a 5 pentacle and a 5 cup here. Okay, and there is a lack mindset in the way this person sort of views the world around them and themselves. And I do feel like there is a physical pain here, despite the emotional pain and the separation and the insufficiency, like they can't perform in some way. I feel like they've neglected a part of them, their physical self, but also their spiritual self and their emotional self. Like I feel there's neglect all around here. So this person might be actually, I say person, okay, please assign whatever this is. I feel like this person could even be under the weather, maybe sick, be like, have a virus of sorts maybe, but it could be the metaphor here that when we have spiritual and emotional blockages, we start to take it on physically. There's physical heaviness here, and it's not good, okay? But I do feel this person B, feels isolated and feels sort of very sad. And I feel like there's a lot of block here in communication. And so, yes, these two could be not talking in a period of no contact, or just don't have an ability to communicate aside from energetically. But I feel like there is a block in authenticity, authentically connecting to who they are because of whatever reason that they've been in. So they might have been suppressing a form of emotion that maybe wanted to be understood. And so there's a lot here to do with balance. And I feel like it's this person might have been off balance for a long time and healing. And I do feel like there's like a descent, like having to really feel the effects of rock bottom here in order for there to be realizations and epiphanies. And I feel like there's the starting, I was getting Page of Cups energy meets High Priestess, which is I'm starting to ask questions about things that I've been not looking at up until now, about spiritual concepts and things that maybe I'm not seeing with my eyes, but that I'm feeling within me. And so there's an understanding that there's a higher version of themselves. And I feel like this person is although descending, because I feel like there's sadness, there's a loss, there's a separation, and there's like hitting a rock bottom. It was needed in order for this person to sort of pivot and start to see their situation differently, which will allow there to be a different view where this person can maybe start to consider things differently and potentially make some changes here. I feel like this person does have a lot of self-worth issues, insufficient, but I feel like they could have felt insufficient in this dynamic to produce whatever they thought they needed to produce. But also I feel like it's like a catch-22. Like I feel like this person was sort of projecting a version of themselves that was insufficient, and now they're sort of surrounding themselves with an insufficient sort of environment. I don't know how else to describe it. It was coming from a very a mindset that might have been really ingrained in this person, because it's all about how can they fill their own cup and love themselves and feel worthy of giving and receiving love. I feel like this person might have felt not in a position to give love or receive love. And so it's created all sorts of shortages and lack here. And I do feel like in the past, maybe this person was able to suppress or this is compartmentation, because I do feel like this person was able to put that energy, the parts that they didn't want to see or understand or look at, in a separate world within them that's now sort of coming out to the open here. Whatever was being neglected, I'll just put that aside. I won't acknowledge this to myself. I don't have to love myself. I won't have to deal with my like my inability to receive love or give love. Like I'm okay with that. There might have been like a settling or an acceptance of who they thought they were. That's now being revealed to them that it's not necessarily true. And so they're looking at this, but it's like self-journey. But I do feel it is very tied to what these two are sort of mirroring back to each other. And I do feel it is triggered by, a loss here in order to look at self. Why can't I give love? Why can't I receive love? Why? Lots of why questions, like looking at self, looking at one's own position, really driving from the feeling of sadness and loss and lack and insufficiency. And I feel like it's really stemmed from a childhood, like 6 cups, like I said here. So it's like an upbringing or something ingrained in them as a child. And I do feel like there's a lot of love between these two. And I do feel like person B might really want to make amends with person A. But I feel like what I'm really picking up is that in order for B to come forward to be in A's world, because A's vibrating at a very high level, I think their energy frequencies are in 2 different levels right now. And that the reason why B isn't in A's life is because B's dropped down and A's dropped up, or one went up, and so the other one automatically goes down by default. But I feel like there's a down and an up. And so now the bridge is even, the gap between these two is further apart. So this is why they're in separation. Okay, but this doesn't mean that there's like it's necessarily a negative thing. I think this is a much required thing in order for there to be growth and ascension, because both of these people are ascending, even though, like I said, one had to sort of go through the descent here in order to get to this Page of Swords energy that I'm seeing here, and this High Priestess energy, which is Pisces, by the way, in order to start to ask questions. And I do feel like they want nothing more but to ease this pain and to reconcile with the 6 cups, but they cannot approach A here unless they're the different evolved version of them. And so this is where this person, whether they're consciously knowing that they're evolving to this version, they are being pulled energetically to make a change for a greater version of them that's seeing their own value in order for them to be able to be in a higher version, so that they can communicate some form of truth Because the truth here is that everybody is worthy and deserving of love. And so if they carry any deficiency, it would be one that was stemmed from some belief in childhood or an experience here that they can't let go of. You know, a relationship that's hurt me, or a memory I have of being abandoned, or I don't know, whatever their reason being, which for all of you guys is different. And I do feel like this person neglected their emotions, and they neglected feeling love and giving love and being love. And I do feel there was an imbalance here within this connection. Okay, and this could definitely be why person A has sort of had to choose themselves, because of the imbalance here, you know, and the divide got too big. But I feel like whatever was in the dark is now being visible and seen and understood. Okay, and so this doesn't mean that it's all beautiful and roses, you know, because sometimes when we see things, it's like we don't want to see what we don't want to see. And I have a feeling maybe both of these people didn't want to see what it was that they're actually seeing now. But now that they're seeing, it's like they are progressing, but they're seeing what wasn't working. And what this person is seeing is not good within themselves, you know. But now, at least because it is visible, we can ask questions and we can start being honest and start peeling this back. And whereas A is now seeing the truth of maybe an imbalanced situation, and maybe was sort of really wanting, you know, this sort of appreciation or this balance or this desire to be, like appreciated and accepted and valued in some way, but that it wasn't something that they could generate within them and find that within themselves. And so they're seeing these dynamics within themselves about themselves. And it's all coming through the spiritual, like the crown chakra. So they're having dreams, downloads, information just really flowing from the divine in order to make these changes. And I feel like there's an intuitive knowing that they must be sort of separate at this time in order to deal with this, because I feel it's an early stage of an understanding. It's like we're finally being shown what was wrong within, what was unhealed, what was in the shadow. This is what's being visible. So just because it's visible doesn't heal it necessarily or make it go away. But now is the work, you know, like the work of integrating that shadow and accepting that version of us that maybe we were suppressing or not wanting to see or compartmentalizing or trying to, with in person A's case, like seek outwards. It's like, no, it's within. So now that I know it's within, it's like I got to work with my own devils here, you know? So yeah, I'm getting Capricorn and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Leo, and also getting Pisces and some Scorpio energy and some Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and Sagittarius. Yeah. Okay, so tarot, just to sort of close this out. Spirit, what do we need to know about this dynamic? Pile number 1, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 1. What do they need to know about this? Guidance, advice, anything I'm missing here regarding pile 1 and the energy around them at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. We have the world in reverse. Yeah, so we're not quite ready for a new phase just yet, because the world is still reversed. But this is exactly what I'm telling you guys. It's like things cannot be the same. The world is closing something out. Like there's a level up here, and it has to be done sort of on our own before we can close this completely out. And who knows what this new beginning is? Maybe we'll see here. But this is the stage in where it's at. The world in reverse. We're closing out major versions of ourself. The past version of us that was in the dark or that had shadow, that was suppressed, that wasn't being integrated or seen. The Hierophant in reverse, Taurus energy. So lessons needing to be closed out and learned completely. Ace of Cups in reverse. Self-love, self-acceptance, self-worth. Okay, so both these people were mirroring to each other a lesson. Okay, and this lesson is needing to completely close out. And it is all about self-worth. This person felt like they were insufficient to receive and give love and communicate their emotions or deal with emotions, and they needed healing. And there was a lot of neglect, physical, spiritual, mental, all around. I'm feeling neglect. And I'm really feeling this need for self-love and strength within self to say, I am sufficient enough to give myself the legs to stand on. I don't need to outsource that. Yeah, working through those limitations. So I feel like person B, the limiting thought was in that childhood experience or that experience of the past, that relationship of the past, or I don't know, that whatever memory that they hold in their energy body that they experienced that made them think that they weren't good enough or capable enough or sufficient enough, or that lack mindset. There's a lack mindset that was carried that is needing to be looked at and addressed here. There's the Hermit in reverse. So it's that inward journey. Okay, and this is why we have the World in reverse here, is because we're still in isolation, or we're still in solitude. We're still becoming enlightened. Look at this. And let me just pull that. I love that this is representing the Buddha hermit here, sitting under the tree where Buddha got enlightenment, because he's having to come into some clarity, some understanding. Okay, but it can only be done through the self and through the timeout. Okay, so the universe knows exactly what it's doing here. There's clarity and enlightenment that comes from being in solitude in order for us to really learn. Yeah, spiritual lessons. I just heard big spiritual lessons here. Wow. Because it's like, what do these people value? What do they want to commit to, you know? Yeah. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like both of these two people, let's see what's at the bottom first. Both of these two people, the Star. Okay, healing. It's all about healing for sure, but Aquarius energy. These two people were kind of stopped in their tracks, you know? I feel like things were halted. And if they were working together, or if there was something going on in the 3D world, because this is the day in, day out dedication, it's like it's on pause. It's at a halt. We can't commit to the energy and the effort in the 3D world that we were maybe showing it up as, to continuously pour into something here, because I feel like whatever this Eight Pentacles was could have just stayed as an Eight Pentacle, like a 9-to-5 job where we show up and we show up and we show up. But like, what is it really like creating here? I don't feel it was going to lead to a 10 Pentacle or something. I feel it's on a pause in order for there to be an understanding, a spiritual learning, reevaluation of self, and a connecting to self, in order for there to be a change in how it is that we invest, and what dedication and what we're going to do going forward in the 3D. Because we don't know what these two are going to do. They're still healing. They're still understanding. They're still coming to this full review and examining, in B's case, examining where they're limiting their own self based on their own thoughts and their own inner dialogue. This is what's being resolved and looked at. Okay, but I feel like what Spirit really wants to say here is there is hope. There is hope here. Okay, Star is all about getting our wish and vision for the future. But I feel like it must be attained through this healing process. High Priestess, which I was feeling here. Very spiritual. So right now it's coming through from Spirit with the 7th chakra and this High Priestess. All the information these people are needing to know in order to level up, to become a different version of themselves, to close out the old version, the unhealed version, and maybe they were really, stagnant. Maybe they worked together like for some time here, but there came a period of a halt where we can't work together anymore. We can't be committed to each other anymore. It's the end of the road going down this path, because we're not going to produce anything from this energy, because I was feeling like whatever was being produced was a cycle of stagnation. It wasn't going to amount to anything more. The limitations were getting in the way. The limitations, which weren't real, by the way, but it was the belief system structure, the thing that got ingrained in us at childhood that we thought was us. It has to be dissolved and understood and reviewed and say, is this holding me back? Is this getting in the way of the build? Because something was getting in the way of the build. And it really stemmed back to a strong sense of self-love and self-reliance from a place that isn't insufficient or suppressed or any of this sort of thing. Okay, so this is what's going on. Pile number 1, what a reading. I love you guys very much. I hope this reading resonated for you. I think I said the signs: Pisces, Aquarius, Taurus, Virgo, from this here. Okay, so I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Gorgeous angels, pile number 2. Let's take a look at you. Oh my goodness, you're not hearts, you're bumblebees. Sorry, bumblebees. All right, let's take a look at you and the energy around you at this time. Person, place, thing. Okay, could be any way you assign it to be, but you must resonate with one side being your energy. Okay, this is an energy check. So the strongest energy around you is going to pull through. Okay, don't force things to fit. Go listen to the intro. If you have any questions, we'll look at person A and person B, and then the shared energy between you and this person or place, thing, whatever, however you want to attribute it. So person A, the shared energy or connecting energy, and then person B. Okay, so if you don't resonate with one side being you, then this might not be your pile. Okay, let's take a look. So we have penguin. All right, interesting. The dark and the light. And we have Gaia, earth energy, 28. I was going to say 82. Interesting. So number 10, the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all. Wow. So the dark and the light with the penguin are talking about whole. You know, the masculine and the feminine are whole. Okay, and this is talking about like everything being interconnected here, the whole universe through Mother Gaia. And 10 is a whole number. It's like a completion. Wow, pretty interesting energy here. So we have this oracle card, cute little kid with curly red hair, orange hair. I'll be reading intuitively. Beautiful. And we have this oracle card. Looks like one matter, could be pentacle, okay, but something of matter. And then we have something orbiting or going around it. Something going around it. Okay. And then we have this dark person, very dark, could represent shadow, but interesting. Wow. And then we have soulmates, clearing core wounds. 2 people, getting that penguin energy again. Clearing core wounds. 3-3 soulmates. Okay, and then we have work. 106, essence, growth level, realism, effort, task, duty, labor, working on one's self. 106. So the number 7 is all about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. It's also spirituality, intellect. Okay, personal growth, which we have here, working on oneself. Solitude and metaphysics. Wow, that's quite a bit pulling through here. And we have green, which is all about the heart chakra. Let's do that. No, let's not do that. And then we have melancholy, wistfulness, sadness, gloom, spleen, depression, perpetual lack. 40 or the number 4. So 4 is about structure, foundation, stability, planning. 4 is emperor energy, Aries energy, also death energy, which is transformation, which I was feeling with the 10 here. Scorpio, okay, a release. Type 4, the individualist emotional center between lack and abundance. Yeah. And then we have illusion. Seek reality, even if it's raw and challenging. Mirage, fantasy, and deception. I just heard spiritual bypassing here, you guys. Okay. And the black egg. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's read this one here before I get into the other person. Black egg. Cosmic egg. Unicorn. Black egg. Speaking from an authentic voice. Yeah. Okay. The truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, books draw us in. The concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from our unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment in every situation. It's the epicenter of truth and birthplace of our voice. Okay, clear. Let's see person B. Yeah. Should I read B right now? What should we do? Should we read A? Why do I want to see B? No, let's do it all because then we get the big picture and then I can channel. Okay. Solar plexus. Yoicks. Ego. Okay, solar plexus. The frequency of solar plexus, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Okay. That's okay. 3 is Empress. That's good. Empress is all about a loving self, abundant love, unconditional love. Here we have friend, the Ace of Wands, little bunny rabbit. Friend, loyalty. Okay. And here we have this person, which I'll be reading intuitively. Okay. Oh, man. I had a song that came through my head and it left as quickly as it came through. It was very loud. Oh, man. What is it? If it comes to me, I'll put it in the link here. But I think it is because I don't generally channel in songs, but I heard it. It's going to bother me now. Okay, let's see. Hopefully it comes back. Like I said, if I do think of it, I'll put it in the link, okay, to your pile. Oh, I'm hearing the music now. This is so funny. They like humming this song and no one will know what it is. Every time I'm around you, I get you can skip ahead, but I'm not gonna stop until this comes through, okay? Okay. Every time I you, I'm in love with you. It's just the Cure. Every time I'm in love with you. I'm gonna have to post it. Oh my gosh, it's really coming through. Very strong. Okay, back to what we were doing. So we have 3 and 3, and the arrow's going up and down, and here is sort of circulating. Again, it's going around this elephant in the room. I'm hearing that music again. In love with you. I'm going to pause. I have to, because I'm going to look up the lyrics of this song. It's coming through very loud, and if I don't do it, then I don't know. Just give me a sec. Okay, pile number 2. It is The Cure, and it's the love song. And the lyrics, you can look it up, okay? So it's, whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. When I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I'm whole again. Interesting, we're talking about whole here. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel I am young again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel I am fun again. However far away, I will always love you. However long I stay, I will always love you. Whatever words I say, I will always love you. I will always love you. Yeah, so very strong, but now words are coming through. So did this person say, it's coming as a friend, something that maybe betrayed your trust in this person? Okay, interesting. So we have this person, this looks Asian, Japanese. It looks almost like a geisha woman. So geisha women are quite subdued. What is this here, Spirit? Interesting. And we have transformation, battle of head versus heart, 4-4. Wow. Integration growth level 89. 8 and 2. It says protection, generosity, helper, love, listener, defender, fighting against injustice. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Libra energy, Leo energy, Pisces energy. And we have resistance. Go with the flow and be open to life's changes. Opposition, refusal, and denial. The elephant in the room. And the owl. Head versus heart. This is all about the mind. Okay, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. The owl, an understanding. Shared energy, we have the second chakra. Wow. So the energy of the sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. Okay, and then we have these 5 people, but it's really giving me this thing that we need to address. Or circling around it, sharking around it, tap-tilling around it. These 2 people. And it looks like there's a little like ball here. I don't know. Are they playing back and forth? Or is it, again, that energy in the middle of these 2, getting in the middle of these 2? Something getting in the middle of these 2. And then we see the 2 higher selves and then the 2 inner child. You know? Yeah, like the self we put forward and then the self that's kind of behind. I feel these 2 people aren't being authentic, if I have to be honest. Okay, moon and then soul, another 2. 2 is all about balance, duality. We had penguin, which was duality. Okay, 2s are about choices. High priestess energy again, Pisces. It's also justice and judgment energy, and more Libra. And so justice, judgment together for me would be talking about some sort of karmic understanding lesson of sorts. Okay, let me sit here and tap into this energy. Okay, I have a feeling a lot of you guys are B, but I'll let you guys decide. Like I said, it could be a person, place, thing that you're dealing with, and it could be an aspect of yourself on either side, however you want to take it, okay? Or 2 sides of someone you're dealing with. It's not fixed in stone, but it needs to resonate with the energy that you resonate with, okay? So this person, person A, this person's being inauthentic to themselves. They're living a lie, okay? It doesn't have to be like pretending to be like, like calm, cool, and collected and they're serial killer, like, at nighttime. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about living a life that isn't aligned with their authenticity. And they might be unaware of the fact that this is true because they're avoiding looking at what it is that's really calling them to make a change in their world. They don't want to address it or see it. And I do feel like for a lot of you guys, but not necessarily, it's this person in a connection. It could be a marriage. It could be a part of their life, let's just say. These are where I grew up, my high school friends, my town where I've always lived, or how I've always been since I've been, 16 years old, or I don't know, I married this person back in 1982 and therefore I must go down with the ship. Whatever that thing is, I feel like there's a way of living that this person is doing here. And they've been so committed, come hell or high water, to this thing, to their own detriment, because I feel like there is a need for this person to address the elephant in the room. And instead of acknowledging that they have a part of them that is wanting out of this thing, or at least that there's an authentic part of themselves that needs to be explored and discovered, it's like this person is just not doing it, or at least they are, I think it is happening. I do think this person is slowly, energetically having to deal with things as it slowly comes out, okay? So it's not like this person has been stagnant forever, but I feel it's been very, very, very slow, and I don't feel it's as though this person is, like, actively choosing to say, okay, let me look at everything here in my life that is actually needs to be parted with, or I need to accept as an old version of me, or a version of me that no longer supports where I'm going or my growth. And so I do feel like this person feels sad. Okay, and they could definitely be sad because they can't come together with person B. Whether they're admitting it to themselves or not, for some of you guys, if this is you, it's like you know that you can't be with B, but there's parts of your life here that you need to make changes on and work on. Okay, if that's you. But there's like this sadness here because Spirit is really saying like this sadness will persist because it's like this thorn on your side that needs to get looked at. When the true calling is burning on the inside and we don't listen to that calling because we'd rather play it safe, then it persists and persists and persists, and we start to feel this sadness and this longing and this perpetual sort of depression that comes upon us. And so this has been upon this person for some time. It's like time to make change, time to address and deal with the things that are in front of you. The elephant in the room, something no longer works in your life, and it's calling them to become whole and authentic and deal with this. And so there is a bypassing here because I do feel like this person is picking and choosing why they can and cannot move in certain directions. And so there's this like, instead of accepting the changes that need to be made, it's like this person will cherry pick and justify why certain moves are okay at this time and others cannot. And it's like they're not living in the reality of the situation here. So it's delaying growth, it's delaying change, it's not addressing things they need to address with. And so this halts their growth and the journey. And so they might spend more time looking at what they don't have and what's not working and feeling sad. It's not working, you know, and thinking that's a reality. That's just accepting that state. Oh, it's not working right now because now's not the time or something like this. Meanwhile, it's like, no, now is the time for you to look at why it's not happening. It's not the universe saying now is not the time because divine timing or anything like this. No, it's saying you're not aligned with it because you're not looking at the thing you're needing to deal with. You're skirting around it. You're maybe dealing with everything but that thing. I'm saying you now. I'm talking to you like it's you, whatever. Person A. Spirit's saying, look at the thing you're not wanting to see. You're skirting around this thing again. And there's a real emotion here of sadness and feeling without maybe person B, like I said, or without the direction of the movement and the growth. And it's Spirit saying, well, the movement and the growth will happen when we look at the thing. And so what is this thing? It could be one major area of our life, like I said, person, place, thing we're not wanting to let go of. But now I'm getting for some of you guys, this could definitely be doing the work of the ego. And we're looking in different directions. Like we're not really doing the self-work yet. We're kind of hoping things will change and that divine timing's unfolding. And it's like, yeah, I'll kind of leave it in the hands of what's happening. And that's okay if we leave in the hands of what's happening. But there's a need first to discover what's false and see through the illusion first. Then we are conscious and aware to deal with the universe and reality as it unfolds. But I feel like there's fear of looking in the shadow, and it's not, and that this person wouldn't say, I'm too scared. It's just that this person subconsciously is sort of avoiding looking in their own shadow and doing it, because what will they find there? So there's a need for this person to really do the self-work. And this comes with facing certain truths that they might not be prepared to see yet. That will clear a lot of wounds, a lot of things that are getting in the way of this person, making wake-ups and shake-ups in their world. And I feel like this person is needing to see the parts of themselves that might not be working so much, because I feel like there's a part of this person they're sort of neglecting, shunning, or not wanting to look at, or pretending it doesn't exist. And that's the part that needs to get looked at. It's very real, and it's very much hindering this person's growth, and it's very much this person coping with it, or making a reason why it has to be a thorn in their side, or maybe even saying it's not. No, this is paying my bill, or this is good in this capacity. And it's like, are we sure about this? Or we just don't like the alternative to admit what it really is doing here for us, in order to avoid the challenge or the stress or the thing that we don't want to look at. And so also what's coming through is like, when we are still feeling sad because we can't be with somebody in some capacity, I feel like it can't be with somebody, but whatever, or make something happen, the dream happen, the dream person, or this other path that I really feel inside. It's not time yet, but I don't know, whatever the story goes, there's like a longing for something here. So there's a need to do the spiritual work so we know that everything is one, so we're connected, because I feel there's a separation, like a dualistic viewpoint here with the penguin. It's like that person's out there and I'm in here doing a different world. It's really seeing the world from a dualistic standpoint rather than unity consciousness, feeling connected. It's like, no matter how far apart we are, like I'm still there, sort of thing. I am being called now to read the penguin. Let's see, where's the penguin? These aren't in alphabetical order, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to find where the penguin is. There he is. And he's kind of in the middle of the book. Oh my goodness. All right, here somewhere. I don't know who made this book, but don't do that. Okay, so it's his family and close relationships. Like I said, there's some thing that they're used to here, social life. A gregarious critter, the penguin is all about family and loved ones, doing everything it can to provide for its close relationships. The penguin is almost never by itself, knowing that a solid system of support is key to the survival of both individual and the species. Humans are wired similarly. Wow. Having a hard time saying that word. If you've pulled this card in your reading, it's time to reach out to your support system. This looks different for each of us. Of course, it may include family, friends, lovers, or even coworkers. Regardless of what your system looks like, something about the situation at hand requires you to reach out. Spend time with those who bring joy, peace, and healing. You've suffered in silence long enough. Let your loved ones be there for you. It's also possible that whatever you're going through directly involves your loved ones. If this is the case, it's time for you to weigh the importance of this relationship in your life. Do you want or even need this relationship to continue? That's it. Okay? If the answer is yes, and this conflict doing more damage to the relationship than it's worth, we must learn to pick our battles wisely, regardless of how this card applies to our current circumstance. The message is clear. Reach out to those you care about. Okay. So this person is clinging to a person, place, or thing that makes them feel comfortable. And they're making up a story of why they need to be there. This person needs me. This is the system or whatever. It's not helping them. Okay. So, but this is showing them something for a reason. They need to clear these wounds and address this elephant, this illusion that they're telling themselves of why they got to be there. Okay. So person B, that song, It's coming through. Again, I feel like person B really wants to be there for person A. They're loyal. They might have been loyal for a long time. They might be very protective of person A, and person A sort of being taken advantage or like giving energetically to something where they can see the authenticity in person A more clearly. And I feel like person B might have been really invested in person A's changes or what's going to like bring them liberation and like, I don't know, being like a helper, offering love, being loyal, being a listening ear, being a confidant, and all of this stuff. But I feel like person B has been quite passive in regards to what it is that maybe they are needing for themselves. Because I feel like there's this dynamic here where B was in it to help A out of a genuineness. And it resulted in them maybe realizing a neglect here of their own what's the right word? Someone that's going to support them in the same way, you know? And I feel like this person might have been really emotionally sort of supportive and involved with A. And now this person is having to really think logically and say, if A doesn't want to deal with the elephant in the room, if A can't deal with the problem, okay, problem. I'm calling it a problem because now it's like stagnancy that is sort of staying there rather than doing something about it. Or if A doesn't even want to acknowledge it, or if A is in the dark about it, something like this, then there's nothing I can do, but I got to kind of work over and around it. Because I feel like in the past, this person might have been really sort of head on trying to like deal with this person A. It just feels like there's a shift in energy here and dynamic where B is now saying, I can't work with someone who isn't willing to see or accept or acknowledge. So the only thing I can do is sort of allow bygones to be bygones or accept some form of truth and knowledge or understanding about the situation. But this is taking a lot of willpower to make changes and be different instead of being the sounding board or the one who bails out A or, I don't know, like, listens to all of the problem and provides something here, but I feel like it was at an expense to this person maybe being seen or understood or appreciated or loved or be given anything here is what I feel. And that this person is being asked to accept what isn't changing in order for them to move forward. And I feel like this person's been fighting moving on or moving forward. Like, I don't want to leave person A in this catastrophe or this stagnancy or this destruction or this whatever this is, because I'm their friend and it wouldn't feel right to leave my friend. But something is telling this person that there's a need for them to shift their energy rather than be maybe an enabler or stick around while someone's in denial or someone is not moving, because that will be the sinking of their ship. And so there's a recognition here that I can't do anything about what cannot be, what's out of my control. And so I can't resist the truth and I must sort of move on with truths. Okay. And so I feel like these two people have been avoiding, and it's like B was sort of avoiding moving on. And it could be that B subconsciously, I don't see it here, but subconsciously was trying to keep it involved or entertained in some way to stall out on some level of growth that was required for this person to have. And I feel like there is a lot of growth here in regards to accepting the universe take the wheel and understanding where they have to accept truths about how situations are in reality, not what they want them to be, instead of sort of sitting stagnant or like settling or lowering or waiting around in some capacity. I do feel there is like passion between these two. And this is maybe where they are energetically connected for a lot of you guys. Okay, this doesn't have to be your story, but I feel like there was a common sharing that they were able to have, which was real and felt on both sides. But it isn't enough to sustain movement and growth. And so just because we're passionate, or just because we're intimate, or just because we're friends, or just because we have this thing that's real, and it was real, it didn't, all the other things that were sort of in the shadow or not real, like it didn't diminish those things. Like those things were still there, and they just sort of skirted around this. You know, the reality that A is stuck, or choosing to be stuck, is really what I want to say, you know? And not consciously choosing, but they could consciously choose to look at themselves and make a change here. And I feel like there is some level of clearing of this core wound, whether they like it or not, but I don't feel they're consciously trying to clear these wounds. It's just as a result of being in contact energetically or physically or however with person B, having known of B. And so I feel like this connection was mirroring back to these two a higher version of themselves, so that they could experience this connection and then be left with growth, because I feel like there is still growth to be had. Like person B is growing through this trust of the universe and not, I don't know, like stunting themselves, waiting around or sticking around or resisting reality in some way by being in denial of A. And A is going to have to grow, because I feel like they're going to be sitting with a thorn in their side that's gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at them. Something's not right. Something's not right. Something's not right. Just because you've been invested in it at one point in time doesn't mean you have to commit and devote your whole forward life to this thing that isn't bringing you happiness. Because I feel like whatever B gave person A is missing from A's world right now, is what I feel. I don't know what this is. Compassion, sex, intimacy, an understanding. Something touched their emotions, you know, that is staying in this is kind of void now. It's bland, it's blah, it's very dark here, it's depressing, it's missing zest and life and passion and emotion. It's very boring on this side, okay? And B might have brought the fun, you know, and now that B is sort of having to move on out of a natural progression, I feel here, of evolution and growth. There is this natural progression of ascension that's happening, because they need to stretch themselves to a higher version of them. How do I deal with B leaving my world? I got to take a look at myself, you know? That's going to be like the next thing this person has to do, because the elephant's really real here. They can't skirt around this thing no more, or at least they can't continue to do this without getting very tired. And I feel like A was looking at every single possible way to engage without dealing with the thing they had to. I could do it like this. I could do it like that. I could do. And it's like all of these skirting ways, because I do feel like A was really wanting to keep B in their world, in their nest, or their, I don't know, spider web of sorts, you know? I don't think it was malicious. It was just like, stay here in my dysfunction rather than me dealing with the dysfunction. So no one wins when we're in moonlight. And I think person B is like, you know what? I can't be in moonlight. I got to cut through the clouds. And so my emotions at one time might have made me cloudy, because I wanted to help and be, you know, like all of this beautiful energy. But I feel like it might have been stemming from B's shadow to wants to be some form of like helper, you know, or like be loyal to a fault in some capacity here, where it's like it's not doing anything except for suppressing or like keeping this person down in some way. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. So let's see. Pile number 2, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. What am I missing here? What questions does pile 2 still have about this dynamic? What do they need to know? Guidance, advice, anything else? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. So we have Leo, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Scorpio, and Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So far, we have the Page of Cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, like I can't get enough of this card. My goodness. Just want to put it in my pocket. Page of Cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, the cutest ever. Look at this little kid. 7 of Wands, climbing the ladder. What did I talk about? The higher self, the ascension, climbing out of the hole. Walk to love. See, emotions are cut off here. If B is not in A's world, the emotions are sort of cut off here. But only A can climb out of the hole, you know, the hole in which they sit. King of Swords. And the mind, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Why is this Page of Cups here in reverse? Hangman, need to see things differently. Exactly. You know, if they keep seeing things in the illusion way, then they can't make any changes here. So this is a change of perspective. Pisces energy. And we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. So I need to surrender, but I feel like this person at one point just sort of submitted, you know, like submitted to the fact that they were in this position. And it's like Spirit's like, no, like fight this new perspective, fight to gain clarity, fight for emotions and what you want. Like, don't just be like, it is what it is. I make excuses why I gotta sit here. Like, no, dig yourself out of this thing. And the only one who's going to dig out is this person's mindset by seeing it differently, understanding it differently, because it's at the expense of this person being happy or like connecting to love or like filling their inner child. And they might owe person B an apology, potentially. Yeah, like this person needs to fight, like have conviction, like fight for what matters, you know? Like there might be a fight, but a fight to stay where they're at, but a fight for what matters. They might be defending their position for the wrong reason or the wrong thing. Temperance, healing, balance, Sagittarius energy, and there's the sun, clarity. Beautiful energy. Yeah, more Leo. And there's the Ace of Swords, authenticity. So new beginning in truth, and there's the Emperor. Yeah, this is so clear, Aries. Beautiful people. Everything is stemming from, like, this was needing to happen in order for both people to sort of ascend and become higher versions of themselves, for whatever their own story and reason being. B needed to learn this sort of head over heart, not be all in emotion, trying to be some form of martyr in some capacity or something like this to try to help a friend, which is nothing wrong with helping a friend, but I feel like they were learning about that whole thing I was talking about in order for them to know when to abandon ship, because they got to accept things the way they are in reality. They can't resist. They got to go with the flow of what is. Okay, and they might have had to break out of feeling pulled and passionately called to action here. And A's problem, okay, was really stemmed from an inauthentic self. And their authentic self is calling to embrace the truth. And B, I think, sees this. It's like there's a need to speak and walk and talk a truth and be honest with our circumstance and our situation. And then we got to take action on this, like, and feel empowered to do so. I feel like A feels helpless or like, oh, there's nothing I can do. Woe is me, you know, but then like making these reasons and seeming like they're fighting for this cause. And it's like, what? Like if only you switched and put all that energy towards the other camp or the real reason here, then they'd make headway. Yeah, but it's like the more fighting they're doing, it's like to keep the illusion alive. And it's like, I got to keep this belief alive, because if I accept this belief to be true of if I accept the truth of what actually is true, then I'm going to see through this belief that I held, which was always an illusion, and I might become very fragile. So it's at the expense of this person experiencing their true feelings here, because the person A's true feelings do not, like, they're blocked here in this thing that I keep saying, you know. And I do feel this is what's caused the conflict, because I feel like A cannot stay in that world and have B at the same time. And I think they wanted to, and they were trying to figure out, or I don't know. something about stalling person B, keeping B stagnant, keeping B in a position where B couldn't feel free to move forward. Although nobody can hold B back, B had to be playing the game. And I feel like B was playing the game for a while. Why was B playing the game? Because they were a loyal friend, because they were there to help and love and defend and protect and do all the things good friends do. But there was an underlying layer here that also B was needing to see about themselves and some greater truth. And the great truth is when someone doesn't want to help themselves, we don't resist reality. We have to move on from that. And I think this is what they're learning and having a difficult time potentially at one point going through this. But transformation is happening. And the conflict here between these two is really stemmed from A, not wanting to embrace a greater form of truth. Although we do see the sun, we see the Ace of Swords, the sun's the most positive card in the tarot. And when I pull it, it highlights all of the positive attributes and all the cards around it and sort of waters down any of the shadow, And so I feel like there is clarity, even though this King of Swords has this sort of truth pointing down. And look, it's disintegrated or broken, the tip of the sword. Because I feel like for a long time, person A was avoiding the truth, the authenticity, which would accept their feelings or some form of honesty about their position that they were unwilling to accept or see. And I feel like Spirit is talking about this time is a time of healing and a time of balance and a time for A to dig themselves or climb themselves out of this hole. Because staying in this reverse Page of Cups with this block is something that eventually is going to need to be dealt with. And then they have no choice but to see it and work with the divine to understand from a different perspective. And this is really stemmed from this sort of melancholy, the sadness, this like depression. And like, I feel like I'm missing this thing, this person, this experience, and constantly just feeling like that. It's like, eventually we'll have to be like, well, where's this coming from and why? And how much control do I have over it? And am I empowered to do anything about it? But I got to be honest with where I'm at, first. So, yeah, but I feel like I'm still disconnected here a little bit because I don't necessarily know that A has fully seen the truth or embraced the truth. And I do feel like A feels a little bit abandoned or on their own. Three of Cups. So this is the card of reconciliation. This is also third party, which I was saying, like, I don't know if A is in another connection or another thing here. And it's like they can't get deep. They can't be expressed or felt on a deep level where they're staying. It's superficial. Yeah, so they're still engaging in the superficial. They're still maybe not seeing the full truth. But where they're headed here is, yeah, thank you, Spirit. Yes. So this sun is talking about the clarity. And this clarity is coming around them seeing their own uncertainty, like clarity in their own lack of truth, clarity around how they've been engaged and thinking, because their mindset is changing, which is good. It's like early stage. It's like, oh, now I can see where I was stuck in a mind trap or a mind story that actually wasn't real. That's preventing my happiness. So it's the first sign of shining the light on what is broken or inauthentic in order for them to climb out and fight for what matters here. This is all a part of the healing, and this person has to be sort of in the right energy in order for them to be able to come together with something, someone else with B in order to create something substantial. So this is what I see, pile number 2. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Sorry, I was checking that I'm recording. All right, pile number 3, you got the double coins, double-sided, the sun and the intuition eye, the moon and the closed eye. So Leo, Cancer, Pisces. Interesting. Let's take a look at what we have. So what are we doing? We're looking at person A and person B, or situation, circumstance, person, place, thing, and you. Okay, so it could be a person, like I said. It could be another aspect of yourself. It's just energy I'm reading here. Okay, so you determine what's what, but you must resonate with one side being your energy. So we have A, and we have the connecting energy, and then we have B. Okay, so let's take a look And it's an energy check to see the strongest energy sort of around you and what's going on with this energy, circumstance, person, place, or thing. So we have the Devil, Capricorn energy. All right. So it could be your shadow self, could talk about ego, could talk about destructive habits, patterns, vices, negative mind patterns, that sort of thing. Feeling bound, feeling stuck. Okay. We have this beautiful little child, chubby cheeks. I'll be reading intuitively. So it's in black and white here. So I'm kind of getting a Six of Cups energy from this, but some sort of nostalgia or memory. I'm getting something stuck is actually what I'm getting. A memory stuck or something. Okay, and then we have these three balls or pentacles. Matter. We have one ball and then these two with the arrows. So we're going down and then back and forth. Okay, interesting. And then we have this oracle card. It looks kind of like a abstract or like, what's it called, art of a guy's face. It's not clear. It's sort of put together. What's a card? Cubist art. Okay. And then we have integration 6/6, multi-dimensional healing. Wow. And look at all these shards too. I was getting shards like very similar. All these like triangular and shards like putting the pieces together. Integration 6/6, multi-dimensional healing. I'm getting some Gemini energy here. And Capricorn. Okay. And we have perfection. So I'm getting some Virgo and Gemini. With the 1 here, compulsion, ideal, ego level 1, perfection, excellency, integrity, rigor, worth, honesty, and righteousness. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. And we have deceit. Honesty is the bridge to authentic connections, lies, deception, and fraud. 7 swords energy. And the cosmic egg. Oh my goodness. So this could definitely be talking about a spiritual awakening of sorts. Cosmic egg. Interesting that these cards all are calling to be read as I put them down, and I've had this forever, but let's see what's coming up here. It says cosmic egg, completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of the cosmic consciousness. Yeah. The state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time. And through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. Fragmentation, you guys. I was seeing shards. Okay, fragmentation. Where was I? Even if we encounter this card as a brief appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life and light, onto life, and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. Oh my goodness. The journey is complete, but it does not end. Right under perfection here. And we have the heart chakra. I love this card so much. Okay, heart chakra is all about unconditional love. Heart consciousness, okay, where we can transcend all past egos and blocks in the lower chakras in order to connect to the heart. Okay, so the frequency of, I just heard Kundalini as well. Okay, so the heart chakra, the frequency of heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Yeah. Integration, multi-dimensional healing. My goodness. Okay, let's look at person B. Getting chills. So we have the rabbit. Okay. The rabbit could be a little skittish, a little sort of hesitant here, spooked easily. Sometimes rabbits to me could talk about divine timing. And we have this baby innocence, child, a new beginning, maybe a little naive, maybe not knowing if we could trust, inexperienced potentially. And we have these 4 pentacles here, or these 4 balls of matter. So these go up, up, and then diagonal. So it's kind of like boop, boop. No, boop, boop, boop. From the ground up, over and out, and back up. 4 pentacle. Okay, it's making a Z or an N, backwards N. Interesting. And then we have this dude right here. It looks like he's in a safari of sorts, and I'm seeing like all sorts of like jungle animals. Like I'm seeing giraffes, I'm seeing lions, I'm seeing yeah, like wildlife here, like safari and deserts. Okay, in the desert. And we have surrender. 1-1, dark night of the soul. Oh, wow. And we have feeling unloved, 11. And we have 1-1, lots of ones happening here. Okay, and 1 here as well. 1 is all about new beginnings, potential, opportunity. It's also Fool energy, which is Aquarius. Okay, that's a new beginning. And the Magician, which is all about manifesting, as above, so below, divine timing, which we got with the rabbit. Okay, so it says feeling unloved, feeling unessential, feeling rejected, separation, indifference, feeling isolated, feeling abandoned. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Basic fear, ego level. This is root chakra. Root chakra can talk about where we have a need to feel safe. We're battling things such as addictions and unhealthy patterns and behaviors. It's devil energy. Okay. Wow. And we have 34, which is heart. Lots of mirroring going on here. We have the root chakra potential unhealthy stuff here, and then the root, and then the heart chakra. Okay, so 34, or the number 7. And so we have Cancer energy. Defense mechanism, ego level, rationalization, logical justification, explanation, reasoning, idolization, sublimation, intellectualization. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay. Regret. The past cannot be changed, but the future is still in your hands. More timing. Okay. Remorse, sorrow, and rut. So 5 cups energy. And we have the dolphin. Wow. Dolphin is a beautiful, compassionate energy. We'll read that shortly. And we have emergence, 25, or the number 7 again. So we have 7-7. Okay, 7-7's a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life and trust of self. So an adventure that arises, we have the dark night of the soul, which definitely is an adventure unto itself. I was seeing safari, which is like feeling very like deserted, and maybe lacking resources when we're in the dark night of the soul here. But it arises from deep wisdom. What is this? This is rationalization and explanation. So under deeper understanding of something. Emergence. Okay, the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude and innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So let's read the dolphin energy. Before we continue and see if anything sort of comes from this dolphin. Okay. Why is it not alphabetical? Serenity now. Virgo. Okay. Innately intelligent, healer, and light blessings. Look at this. The gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. So we can't rationalize or intellectualize this thing. Okay, dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of spirit. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming in contact with the dolphin type will change the entire course of your day and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on its way. When in balance, active healer, strong spiritual practice. When it's out of balance, it underestimates your own power to bring into balance like-minded spirits. Okay. Okay. And we have romantic love with the connecting energies between these two. 34 or the number 7. Lots of 7s in this reading, you guys. Okay, 7 is all about spirituality, intellect, and personal growth, solitude. It's also faith, wisdom, reflection, and understanding. So it says the frequency of romantic love supports our experience to know ourselves through the reflection of a conscious lover. Okay, now we have 2 and 2. So 2 people and 2 people, sort of arm in arm. They're standing side by side. I have a feeling these are the same 2 people, changed, evolved, looking at themselves. And here we have 2 people sort of mirroring each other. And then we have this detective sort of wandering, investigating. He's smoking a pipe. And we have Cancer, I feel, 16. So 16 is tower energy. Okay, deconstruction here. Cancer. Could be family, emotions. Okie dokie. Let me sit here with this. This is interesting energy. Okay. Interesting energy, you guys. Like I said, just attribute your side to one side, okay? You could be on both if it's like you're feeling like one side's your higher self or an aspect of yourself, okay? It could be a person, place, or thing on one side, but it should resonate with what you're going through here. So it was hard at first for me to gauge which side you were on. Most of you, okay? Of course, I'll let you decide, but because it's very, very similar in certain ways, so this might be blend. It might be, like difficult to tell what side you're on here with this, but I do feel like a lot of you guys are sort of on this A, okay? So bear with me as I start to channel this. So I feel like A is really going through this, has been going through, and I don't know how far along A is at in this sort of journey. This card was talking about coming to sort of the end of a spiritual journey of experience here where we're finally feeling whole and happy. Okay, we're no longer in sort of lack and that sort of thing, which I do feel for a lot of you guys that could be the case here, okay? But I do feel like there's some of you guys who are also here that are on this type of a journey, okay? Just to sort of talk about it so that you guys don't feel dark in the tunnel of the spiritual awakening, feeling completely abandoned and lost. Like it will lead you to happiness and wholeness. But I feel like either which way, whichever sort of camp you fall in, it's about the Kundalini rising. And this is about our spirituality being awakened by another. Okay, we have here a conscious lover. Okay, so I don't necessarily know if B was conscious when you met them, but we can only really be awakened when we're shown and reflected back to us something that awakens the Kundalini. Okay, and some people can even say this is like our own soul sort of being reflected back to us by another, which I don't know, whatever you believe. But point being, I do feel as a result of A getting involved with B, an experience with B has awoken person A, wherever they're at in this sort of journey. And what this journey really is one of feeling whole and complete and learning about unconditional love, because that's what these journeys are really about. What unconditional love of what? Unconditional love of this person? No, not necessarily. Unconditional love of self, unconditional love of this person, and unconditional love of all of humanity. It's the highest state, it's the highest vibration here of love, so that this person can learn about what it is like to be connected to everyone and everything from the highest state of consciousness. Okay, oneness, not feeling separate, alone, and sort of, in their own separate bubble, that we're all connected. And so this person is learning their self-worth. And they probably already learned about self-worth and all of this. And so, like I said, there's this scale I'm seeing. And so I don't know where this person falls per se, because I do feel some of you guys who have been on this journey for some time are really, really leaning into this self-worthiness, honesty, feeling very like perfect with your imperfections. Okay. But I do feel like for some of you guys, we're finally identifying here. It's like, okay, I'm finally seeing pieces of myself that I'm trying to see through, but put myself sort of back together. But this isn't like putting the false self back. It's like putting these pieces together that fit within me so that I can stand on my own. But there was having to identify the devil. And the devil is all within, my bad habits, my ways that I'm destructive with myself, or habits I have, ways of being, and addictions to maybe this connection or obsessions or anything that was not allowing me to grow. And I feel like this connection was sort of kept mirroring back and was keeping that journey sort of unfolding, if you will, back and forth and back and forth. There was like a back and forth. So I don't necessarily feel it was stagnant, because I do feel like there was this mirroring. Okay. But I do feel like it wasn't amounting to seeing in the 3D world like a creation of something other than just like doing the internal reflecting back and forth. Because I feel like this is a very mirrored connection, and whatever was being mirrored to A, was helping A, and whatever A was outputting to B was definitely helping B, which we'll get into. And so I feel like this was really fed from the divine, like a greater power brought these two sort of in contact and was feeding. Now, in this depiction, it shows it's feeding A, and it could very well be feeding A. And so, A, I'm so sorry, B. I don't want to confuse you, okay? This is fascinating. I'm so fascinated here. Spirit was using one of these people, which they do feel like twins here, okay? And even if you don't resonate with that label, it's more of like a signpost for me to be able to put into words what this energy is. That spirit was feeding B, and this energy was going from B through to A. And it was really being reflected, however it was being reflected. But I feel like there's definitely these two different worlds going on. But I feel like A is wrapping something up, whereas I feel B is entering something here, which I feel A has already gone through. Okay, with this dark night of the soul and this like wandering of this desert, and sort of, it's like this person B was needing to be woken up to this other part of themselves that was going to elevate them more, because I do feel like this person might have been already awake or already maybe had some form of connection to the divine, however that is. I mean, we're all connected to the divine, really, but there was something conscious already about this person. But I feel like maybe they were stagnant or stopped or something, and then they woke up A. I know this is a little complicated, guys, but this is exactly as I'm seeing it. And then A did whatever A did, had to look at their own shadows and egos and all the stuff here that we think is us. And then now that A is sort of graduated and seeing and being put back together and whole, I feel like it's triggering B into some sort of dark night of the soul, because I do feel like the dynamic right now that's going on between these two is that A might not necessarily trust in this connection, because I feel like there's some form of, this is deceit and a need for this person to be authentic in their connections. And I feel like now that this person has identified devils or put something together within themselves, it's like B is not maybe aligned with my authenticity. B is not sort of reflecting my worth, or something that is not integral about staying here. Okay. And so I feel like A's journey is all about healing this next part, and really navigating through being unconditionally loving of self, and navigating how to be unconditionally loving of a connection here, that which might have not have been completely authentic. Because I feel like there is a lot of regret with B, a missing out energy, and feeling unloved and separated from A. And also trying to justify and rationalize their behaviors. And I feel like there's a part of B, sorry if I call them A, but B, this is B. A part of B that was really being needed to look at within themselves all along, that I think B was avoiding or not wanting to look at. Like, there's some avoidance that comes through here, because there's a greater purpose for B. And we read this dolphin card. So it's like this person has the ability to provide a lot of healing in a field, or to pursue some form of contribution to the collective that is untapped. I really feel it's untapped. And so without this person sort of going through this dark night of the soul and this feeling unloved and like a wake up, shake up, they'll never know the capacity of their healing. And so I do feel like this person is being reborn here. And then again, I'm really getting that energy of, remember how I said the divine was sort of feeding through B? I feel like B's darkness or shadow, or something that B was challenged with, was sort of flowing to A, which feeds back to this deceit, which I was talking about, something inauthentic. So it's almost like, oh, this is so interesting, Spirit. Why is it so confusing? It's almost like, in order for A to, it's like, it's great if B is transmuting, what's it called? Telepathically or energetically feeding A with higher levels of truth. Okay, great. Consciousness, higher levels of truth. It's all authentic. It's great. But I feel like it came to the point where maybe it shifted. And I feel like A was like revealing certain things and putting things together here, and it sort of flipped. And then B's shadow side, what B needs to heal and deal with, was flowing to A. And A's like, well, I can't deal with inauthenticity. I can't deal with person B's shadows and darkness and whatever else. And so it's triggered this, I don't know, I do feel is like a separation of sorts, because I feel like, or at least a change of the dynamic between these two, because I feel like B feels some regret and some sadness here, but it's forcing them to have this dark night of the soul for them to emerge like this new being. But they feel left out, and I feel like they don't have the right tools, or like they're sort of thrown to the wolves here to figure it out. And and they're being called to get out of their mind in order to really deal with the spiritual side of this, the emotional side of this, and look at the energetic side of this thing, because they're being awoken to their powers, their spiritual powers, which, by the way, I wanted to mention has nothing really to do with this pile, but I think I will do a reading on, what are your sort of spiritual powers, so to speak, gifts and talents, because I do feel like it'd be interesting to see what we all sort of carry here. But this person has a way to heal the collective. And without there being this flow, you know, if they were to maintain, because I feel like there was a maintaining of energy to the point where they couldn't engage anymore in the same way because of the fact that A is naturally concluded something here. And it's like they could be content here with authenticity. And if there's connections and dynamics that aren't aligned with authenticity, then it's like person A's learned the lesson of self-love and not needing to compromise in a situation where they might be missing out or not experiencing growth. And I feel like A's had to put themselves together here because I do feel like A has experienced shattering, you know, like a lot of need for healing and identifying all this stuff and a lot of inner child work and a lot of stuff here for sure. And so I do feel like A is guarded and is protecting themselves. And I do feel like a lot of it is protecting themselves from B, you know? And I don't think A trusts B because of this inauthenticity that's being stirred about. And I don't know where it originated or how this came, but yeah, there's a need for B to look at this part of themselves. But I feel like these two twins, okay, which is really what I'm feeling here, is like there's like the old version of them that I feel was back and forth or like sharing something, and now it's like leveled up and it's bringing them actually closer together, whether they realize it or not, because I do feel there's a space between them and it's this inauthenticity or this need for B to connect to something because they have this gift to the collective they're supposed to be working on or at least waking up to, and they weren't without this experience. And so there's this leveling up. Okay, but I do feel a lot of love between these two, like a lot of love, you know, whether they're together or apart here, it's like this energetic bond is very strong. And so I do feel like they're mirroring each other, but I feel like this is a period of self-inquiry, self-discovery, reflecting and engagement, where I feel like these two can't do this part of the journey together because it doesn't require two. It requires this walking alone for this next phase. Although it is being mirrored and although it is impacting each of these people, but it's really connecting to self. And I do feel like anything that needs to be deconstructed that's not authentic is falling away with this tower energy, like everything. And I do feel like because where A is at, you know, like I said, I don't know, because I was getting the sliding scale, but I really feel like if A is at the point where they're happy on their own and completely like tapped into this confident energy of self and knowing their self-worth and excellency, self-mastery, then I do feel like there is this continuing experiencing that so that they could be strong in those legs, so to speak, before they sort of engage with B, because B is a little bit discombobulated and is still needing to have a tower moment here. Okay, like they're still going through this shift. And it doesn't feel good because it really, the dark night of the soul is very scary, like I said. And so B might really feel abandoned, you know, feeling unloved here. But there is an understanding because I do feel like B was already sort of maybe awakened or like getting information from the divine. And I do feel like this is what sort of woke up A through B, but through the divine. I don't know. It's so interesting. Yeah. So there's this side of B that hasn't come out yet that's being born. And so it's almost like A is just sort of having to do this as part of a team player to let B sort of spread their wings, you know. But A is going through like enjoying themselves, but I feel like they've had to piece themselves back together. And yeah, like, but I do feel there's like a guardedness here and feeling a little bit like let down or deceived or let's see, because I do feel I'm missing something. For pile number 3, spirit, pile 3, clear and concise message. What am I missing in regards to this energy? Clear and concise message for pile 3. What is this about? Can we get a deeper understanding of the energy going on between these two? Thank you so much. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Okay. 3 of Cups. So this is the card of reconciliation, celebration, coming together. And the Chariot, victory. Cancer energy, balance and shadow integration. Okay. The 2 of Pentacles in reverse. So I need to balance, prioritize. The Moon in reverse. And this is right by this deceit. So Cancer, Pisces energy. And then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And the Lovers, Gemini. To choose, we have the 2 of Wands, another choice. 6 of Wands, so we have victory, self-victory, and then winning with the universe. So 2 cards of victory. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Wow, nice couple here. We have the King of Coins and the Queen of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. 2 Eagle cards. The Fool, Aquarius, and then we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. And the 9 of Swords, Dark Night of the Soul, surrender. Okay. Beautiful people. I feel like these two are apart, you know, like they've had stronger bonds if they are physically sort of together. They're sort of feel miles apart here. And the reason being is all the reasons we talked about, to this need for really to go through this thing, okay? But I do feel like what Spirit is talking about is like when there's an internal sort of success and victory, then there's like winning for everyone, you know, because the Chariot, like I said, is winning with the universe, whereas the 6 Wands is sort of our own private sort of victory. So I feel like what Spirit's talking about here is these 2 people are having to go through this phase so that there could be a new beginning. And this new beginning would require new, fresh energy. This fresh energy would happen organically when we deal with all of the stuff that needs to go away. Like there's a Tower, there was this 7 Swords energy of the inauthenticity we were feeling, okay? And I feel like it's created conflict amongst these 2. And really coming through is a need to choose and make decisions. And so I feel like someone maybe wasn't choosing or seeing or prioritizing or making decisions in line with the highest calling here, which is this Lover's path. There's a destined path, okay? Yes, this is lovers. So we can talk about like your destined partner, like these 2 twins, which I really feel. Okay, but it's like there's a calling, there's a path. And I think person B has a purpose to do healing to the collective here. And they're not forced to do this, but this is where they're at home and they're most authentic. But it would require them to choose differently, maybe to prioritize differently, maybe to deal with things differently here. Because I do feel like there's like being seen by the public and being recognized and appreciated and experienced here. And maybe they were playing it small or not doing things in line with this, being in their comfort zone or keeping things stagnant. I don't know, but they weren't seeing or understanding this. And I feel like why this happened is like so that the moonlight could be removed from what's going on here, because I feel like there was a back and forth here for some time, like I said, and then it's like, well, we got to start to remove illusions and start to make decisions and push yourself sort of outside of this, you know, because I feel like the future stability is riding on this shift. Specifically, B has a potential here of creating some future for them that was at risk if they weren't capable of making decisions aligned with this thing. And so I feel like there's a real need for B to come into a state of surrender, because maybe B was resisting or fighting, or I don't know, but it was creating the conflict here. But I feel Spirit's also talking about like this dark night of the soul being a big part of the process, and also maybe both of them feeling anxiety about this state, because I don't feel these two like being apart, and I think these two might fear the worst. It's like we've always been together, or there was like working together, and now it seems like the universe threw us for a loop or for a spin. It's like, what's going on? So we have all these anxious thoughts, and Spirit saying, don't worry, like, we got you. The universe has you. This is all about balance. It's all about shadow integration. Dark night of the soul is needed in order to get balance, in order for you guys both to be successful, and in order for there to be a coming together and a reconciliation, if of course you want it, because this is all the cards of reconciliation. Although I do feel like A feels protective, or protecting themselves. And I don't know why that is. And it could be that B was just making decisions that weren't in line with the highest. It really seems like they weren't. And there's a need to address ego and the false self. So the false self falls away when we have a dark night of the soul. We address the ego and all that stuff, But there's a part of B that I think is supposed to be in the public eye or visible to the collective. And I don't know, maybe A is, because somebody here is in the public eye, or I don't know, doing something here. The Queen of Pentacles, look, the Queen and King of Pentacles now. So some of you guys could be in a third party, although I don't know, like we have the Lovers and the Queen of Wands, which talks about the other woman, there being a choice in love. But I think this is it. It's like B needed to prioritize something here in order for there to be like a partnership that could sustain the test of time and be committed to each other and be successful for the future. Reliable, committed, dedicated, grounded, practical. I feel like maybe it was all in energy or in space in some way here, because I feel like it was all like telepathic or energy. I feel I'm missing something. So we're just going to see. I'm going to see, why is A defensive? And then we'll get some outcome or some advice here. Okay, so spirits for person A. Can we take a look at person A? Like, are they guarded? What is this? Honesty is the bridge to authentic connections. What's going on with person A and their feels, and why they're guarded here? What's going on with A? Okay, so the Five of Coins in reverse, feeling left out in the cold, having to come out of lack. The Queen of Swords, yeah, they experience lack in this experience, or feeling left out or abandoned. There's like boundaries, there's making clarity. Maybe they were, I don't know, needing to understand something. Oh my goodness, here's Empress. So the Empress, okay, hopefully this is covering her. We got 4 nipples, lady. Okay, so Empress, Taurus, and Libra. Self-love, boundaries, from being left out in the cold. Maybe not being prioritized. And High Priestess. Wow, right over top of this cosmic egg. Spirituality, inner knowing. 7 cups. Okay, yeah, look at this. Person A has been in a 7 cup state. Okay, in this connection. Maybe wishful thinking and seeing a potential here, but not any clarity here in regards to direction. And I don't know if it's because of the dynamic, but A was having to work through going through an experience to get clear, certain, honest, and not have to stick around situations that might have been not providing whatever resources. Maybe they felt really like they were sort of just putting up with scraps. Whatever this was, it's like this person got pushed to making their own clarity, getting out of uncertainty. Maybe this connection as well was one that person B didn't want to commit to them, because we saw the King and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It's like a lack of commitment, a lack of understanding where the future would go, keeping the connection sort of non-official in some way with the 7 cups. Okay, and so A was learning about their own abundance. It's like, I don't need to be an open-ended thing here that doesn't provide me full clarity, and where I'm settling or feeling lack or feeling unloved or feeling pushed out or left out or settled. None of that. Now I'm here in my beautiful Empress energy, knowing my full worth and my abundance, and really tapped into my higher self, completely in tune with my intuition and connected to the divine completely, because I feel like for this energy, this is like wrapping up. So very in tune, but it doesn't say why they're defensive. It could just be, again, experiencing this lack, and this lack of, like, this settling energy, being pushed out, left out, and not clear, or again, one of many options. It's like, I don't want to be one of many options and it's not clear to me. Like, that's undermining my value. This Star in reverse. Yeah, they just gave up seeing B as like this fantasy wish fulfillment that could bring in what they want. It's like, at one time I had this vision, this fantasy, and it's like it just was unclear. And so I'm no longer hopeful that this is going to be the thing, you know? It's like losing hope and no longer sort of down that same vision that they might have once had. Okay, so that gives me clarity with that. But let's see then why. Let's take a look here, and then we'll do the outcome. What's going on here then with B? B's energy, spirit. Yeah. I feel like they feel, again, like out of resources here, or like they're having to, I don't know, navigate some dangerous land or something. What's going on with person B in pile 3, spirit? Oh, person B. Oh, geez. So we have 3 pentacles. Okay, that's a good card about collaboration. A 4 of swords, reflecting healing. And the Knight of Swords in reverse. That's that rabbit energy. The High Priestess as well. Look at that mirroring. See what I was telling you? It's very hard to see who's who and what's what. And the 6 of Pentacles. Okay. Beautiful people. Person B is pulled away, much needed in order to heal. I feel both are sort of doing their healing however they do it, but it's really like falling on this energy with this regret. Is like, there's a lot that person B could have done and could do to show up, to invest, to give of themselves. Okay, this is the card of collaboration, but it's like also could be the card of like, you know, counseling. Like, what can we do? What effort can we put in to make it work in order to work with another and get over obstacles? I feel like this person is having to really reflect on what all can they do and give and contribute to this connection. And this person ran, you know, or this person didn't show up. This person didn't confront. Instead of confronting, giving, acknowledging, leaning into it, they might have ghosted, ran, or just didn't do what they wanted. And now it's like sitting here regretting this. And it's like their intuition is kicking in here in high gear. Pisces, by the way. And this is their intuition really sort of stirring up this dark night of the soul, so that this person can really consider like where they can invest their energy in this lifetime and work with person A, because I feel like these two have to contribute something. And like I said, one felt like it was in the public eye. The other one is like also, I don't know, working through coming into the public eye or being of service to the collective, being seen for all of their beauty and all of their talent. But it's like they were shying from this. So maybe there's like imposter syndrome or like something like this. And so this is what's being revealed and understood. Yeah, look, they're going through a dark night of the soul. So I knew dark night of the soul was coming from this energy and lots of anxiety about coming into their full potential, but also regret from not showing up here. So they're doing this sort of a thing. And it's like, are they confronting it. I don't know. They're sitting here going through the dark night of the soul. And when you go through that, you can't really do anything except for self-inquiry, be reborn. And, you know, sometimes we feel very disconnected and rejected. And the separation is much needed for there to be a wake up. So let's see the outcome and any guidance that Spirit wants to communicate here. Outcome, guidance for pile number 3, spirits. Thank you so much. I need a drink of water. Okay, I'm going to chew on ice. Pile number 3, outcome guidance. However they separated, that's not how they're coming out. Like, they're coming out different than how they went in, if you want to put it that way. They're different beings. Okay, they're going to be completely different beings when they come into contact again. Look at this, you guys. The 2 of Cups. My goodness. King of Swords. And this sword is broken. The tip is broken here. That's that inauthenticity. That's that deceit that person A was feeling about B. An inauthenticity. Okay, King of Swords is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. 2 of Cups right on top of that. So we have, what is this? Strength, Leo. Ego, death. That's the dark night of the soul, 6 swords. So we remain in challenge situations until we face what we need to. And there was like a Knight of Swords in reverse, like a cowardly energy here, rather than facing, confronting, and dealing and sorting through ego. It was like not doing that, you know? And so they're called to action, or else they're just stuck here in this challenge, dark night of the soul. And I feel like there was a stagnancy, and so this is a wake up. Yeah, atonement. And this deck didn't have a guidebook describing this, so I don't know. Yeah, I was trying to find it. I don't know what this card from the author means, you know, because it didn't say in the guidebook. But the atonement here, like, look, there's all this abundance. There's honey. There's I don't know if that's pomegranate, which is all about abundance. Okay, and she's feeding the ducklings, the geese. There's like enough love and abundance to sort of be shared, and love and warmth. Look, we have a feather here. Oh, we have a mirror. We have a knife. I feel like A is really an integral part of B's awakening here, you know, the process. And I do feel like A was nurturing and is still nurturing. However, this dynamic is going on. There's a nurturance of energy, and sometimes we're on the receiving end and sometimes we're sort of on the giving end. And I feel like B right now is being called to step into their strength and to shed the ego, because I do feel like A has been doing a lot of shedding of the ego. But I do feel like this connection is stuck and stagnant, and has been for some time, because B's been called to action. Yeah. See things differently. Pisces, this is all about spiritual enlightenment. We saw a high priestess with A, we saw the high priestess with B, and now we're seeing the hangman. Enlightenment, working with the divine. Both these people are very spiritually gifted. Okay, but if they don't see it and connect, if they stay stuck in ego and matrix, then they're stuck. They can't move forward, progress, and go down the lover's path, which is their purpose. And so that's why this is sort of happening here. We have more Pisces energy. Strong Pisces, so it could just be talking about the spiritual energy here. Queen of Pentacles, Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So if we're too dependent on the matrix world, then we can't connect with the spiritual side. And I feel like there was a dependency on the matrix, or a need to become independent, and this was the shift. This was the shift. Yeah, dependency here on matrix. Ace of Cups, self-love, emotional new beginning. 10 Cups, you guys, so much love here. 2 Cups, Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And under the King of Swords, we have the 4 of coins, 4 Pentacles. So Spirit's really giving us answers as to what's going on here energetically. There's a potential, okay? 10 cups. I think both these people know this. But in order to get to a 10, we sort of have to be filling our own cup completely full, meaning we can't be dependent on any part of our world to provide that source. It has to be found from within. And I feel like B was still dependent on something, whatever, person, place, or thing, dependent. And so they're really working through filling their own cup. And maybe it was like the dependency on A to feed them. So it's like, A's got me, A's got me, A's got me. And it's like, no, you got to feed yourself and you got to find it from within. Because I feel like all of what A learned was about this self-strength and self-worth and authenticity. And so it's like this new beginning, once B finds how to fill their own cup and connects with the divine and breaks the chain of the matrix here so that they could have a potential. They go from a 1 to a 10, but you can't get to a 10 unless you fill your own cup. And so I feel like A stopped feeding, B just stopped investing, you know? And that's a very difficult choice to make, but I feel like this is the end of the cycle. It's like A can no longer feed B. It can no longer be this sort of a dynamic, or else they're stuck. And so I really feel like A is letting go of B, having to let go of B. And B, I feel, is very clinging to something in their world that didn't want to allow themselves to push forward and push them outside of their comfort zone. So they were really hanging on to how things were. And they might have been really hanging on to A, you know, not wanting to let A go or keep things as they are. And it's like, no, you got to fight for this out of this dark night of the soul, this ego death, this energy of not feeling confident enough or strong enough to face your own shadows in order for there to be a coming together. Because I do feel like B is driven by this separation or this feeling rejected feeling and wanting to be at the same level as A. It's like, I want to be at your level. I want to be sharing with you. But in order to do that, then they know that A is no longer sort of, I don't know, settling here. They had 5 pentacles here. A's already learned about self-worth and self-value. And it's like, it's B's turn to fill their own cup. And the only way is by A saying, I can't keep watering this garden when you've had a potential here to sort of know better, understand better, or see your situation differently. Otherwise, we're stuck here. And we can't be stuck here. You're my person. And you have this ability to provide healing and purpose and this beautiful heart to the world. Why is it, I don't know, why is it under a stone here? You know? So I think once B sort of gets over the regret and whatever, because now's the time, divine timing kept coming through. Now's the time for B to emerge, their highest potential to emerge, to be born. Okay, but it starts with filling their own cup. And then I do feel these two are going to come together, but this is much needed lesson here. And I think very painful, very, very, very painful, because I don't think A wanted to not feed B. But that's what this is. Because until we go through that, we don't know what this is. This is that conclusion of a cycle where we choose ourselves. We choose our own value. We're at the end of the journey where we don't sabotage, sacrifice. And although love does heal and conquer all, the truest expression of love is to do the most loving thing, which sometimes is very painful, like pulling our energy back because it doesn't make sense, or it enables someone's destructive behaviors, or choosing ourselves because we're settling. That's not loving. That's not loving at all. Okay, so wow, pile number 3. This is this reading. I hope this helped you guys. I love you guys so, so much. I love you guys for being here, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.